I would like to introduce our next insight, which comes from Mr. Ahmad Abdallah, Regional Sales Director for Saudi Arabia Levant at Thales. Ahmad is an accomplished IT and cybersecurity professional with more than 16 years of successful experience in these domains. Currently based in Riyadh, Ahmad serves as Regional Sales Director with Thales. Ahmad supervises Thales' sales and marketing operations in Saudi Arabia, Levant, Yemen, and Sudan, while managing $2 million accounts. Before assuming his present role, Ahmad held senior management positions with Gemalto, SafeNet Inc., and a few other large firms in the same industry. Ahmad, over to you. I think you might be muted.
Thank you, Greg. Okay. Thanks, everyone. And thank you for having me today. Thanks for everything shared in the first panel. Actually, what I would like to focus on today is the threat models in this era of digital transformation. And maybe we're going to discuss the same business aspects, but in the cybersecurity threats model. Let me start saying, like, this is like a common thing that the information security became embedded with the organization business continuity management systems. So there's no difference between IT security now and business. They're so engaged. In the very, let's say, very near past, these two domains used to be separate, but the changes in IT and cyber threats created that alert to the approach. An easy definition of business continuity, and we all know this, it's about maintaining the critical functions, not during disaster or crisis, but afterwards as well. The traditional business continuity, which we used to hear about in the past years, and especially when it comes to plans, these plans consider the potential disruption, such as natural disasters, fires, diseases outbreak, like what happened in the pandemic last year, and cyber attacks at the same time. However, I can see the trend towards digital transformation and the increasing reliance on IT for either critical business functions and data. Cybersecurity or cyber attacks are or became a real threat to business continuity. And cyber threats also tend to feed off such crises. At this era of a very accelerated digital transformation, it is the time to rethink about business and cybersecurity at the same time. Here is results of the data threat report we released this year. Based on almost 2,600 respondents from several countries across the globe, the 2012 Thales data threat report came to show many things. A very important aspect, I would say, only 1/5 of these correspondents indicated that their security infrastructure or infrastructures was very prepared to deal with disruption caused by the shift to remote work. Looking at the dark side, like 82% were very concerned about remote workforce, and almost half of these guys were not confident that their security systems could efficiently secure the remote work. The next aspect is the multi-cloud dependency. So obviously, enterprises are in the process of multi-tier cloud migrations and application modernization efforts. And while the heart of digital transformation is mission-critical applications, the multi-cloud became a momentum. Many organizations are already using multiple providers for infrastructure as a service, such as Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, Alibaba. when looking at leveraging the platform as a service providers, it's even more measured. And at the most cases, enterprises use more than just one provider. Not to forget that the multiple software as a service delivered or SaaS delivered applications relies on even a bigger and bigger number. So let's say as more data is distributed and stored across hybrid cloud environments, data discovery became a greater issue. The analysis says the percentage of cloud users who have complete knowledge of their storage location are almost 24%, and that's too low. So the multi-cloud consumption raises concerns about the operational complexity of successfully managing both encryption itself and the corresponding keys across multiple providers. Think about this. Each with their own console and APIs, and that's too much. As we can see in the slide, almost half of the respondents see cloud as more complex to manage. That management complexity can be multiplied with each new cloud environment that added, because each brings its own technology implementation, operational model, and security tools. So mastering all of these independently can be a huge resource commitment, and even it can leave a lot of security gaps if management isn't well coordinated. We all agree, and that's like maybe a very famous slide, or a lot of people agree on this, like the ultimate strength of any organization's security or protection is to prevent breaches. Before we dive into these numbers in this slide, I want to raise like two questions. You might take them down or answer them later. Keep these answers and questions for your future transformation plans. And that's what I would ask anyone moving into transformation. Have you ever avoided a breach notification process because the stolen or leaked data was encrypted or tokenized? That's something deeply we can go with. The other question is, have your organization even experienced data breach? And this data breach was involving data and application that reside in the cloud or in a service provider environment. That's something else we need to think about. The numbers in this slide talks by itself. Breaches remain a hot subject. And every day we hear about a new incident or more incidents which are more aggressive than the ones before. A subject comes after this or with everything I mentioned, and this is like very, very trendy these days, the word zero trust. Zero trust gains really a momentum around the whole globe, not just in Middle East. The approach to cybersecurity has also raised rapidly around what is the zero trust and how to achieve zero trust network architecture. The phrase zero trust by itself is based on the principle, never trust, always verify. That means risk is a root factor, both inside and outside the network. In short, it's not a matter if an attack will happen, the matter is when it can happen. So the question you might add to the previous ones or taking notes, where are you from zero trust journey? And that's, I always ask myself and the organizations about. Do you have any formal strategy for zero trust? Are you planning or researching? Maybe you consider it, but there is no plans yet. It's something we have deeply to think about it. Last but not least, the future became today. The quantum computers are on the brink of maturity, I would say. And they are also so powerful that they can solve complex mathematical problems in minutes that would take thousands of years in the classic computers. There are a range of future risks all organizations should plan for when it comes to this. One that has significant impact for long-term data security is the arrival of quantum computing and its potential to break current cryptographic approaches. That's so dangerous. Many people say, quantum will take years. Come on, it's something really, and might take decades, a decade, not only years. I'll tell you something. Google machine has quantum volume, which is a measure of quantum computing power of 32. Last year in June 2020, Honeywell announced that it had doubled the quantum volume in their own machine to 64. 2 months later, from that time, IBM reached the same milestone as well. So to conclude, these challenges are increasingly evolving, and who knows what will happen next. What we really need to think about comparing to or putting in our digital transformation plans is the fact that we also need to consider a comprehensive data protection. And this comprehensive data protection begins with a flexible framework that allows you to apply multiple layers of defense with full visibility, control, and automation. This about a full stack of solutions that bring centralized security controls, centralized policies, and compliance into a kind of heterogeneous and dynamic hybrid environments. That's all when it comes from my side in this 10 minutes. Thank you for listening, and I'll be with you in the panel discussion.